Welcome to theaustraliantest.com, your trusted resource for Australian Citizenship Test preparation. In this video, we'll present 20 unique questions drawn directly from the official guide, Australian Citizenship, Our Common Bond. Each question comes with a detailed explanation to enhance your understanding. Please do not skip and watch continuously for the best learning experience. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Let's get started. Question 1. What is central to Australia's community remaining secure, prosperous, and peaceful? Option A, economic growth. Option B, military strength. Option C, cultural diversity. Option D, values based on freedom, respect, fairness, and equality of opportunity. The correct answer is values based on freedom, respect, fairness, and equality of opportunity. Explanation: Australian values, particularly those centered on freedom, respect, fairness, and equality of opportunity, are fundamental to maintaining Australia's security, prosperity, and peace. These values form the cornerstone of Australian society and citizenship. Question 2. How are Australian citizens expected to engage with values? Option A, by discussing them in academic settings. Option B, by living them out in everyday life. Option C, by enforcing them on others. Option D, by studying them annually. The correct answer is by living them out in everyday life. Explanation: Australian citizenship involves actively living out these values in daily life and within local communities. It's about practical application rather than theoretical understanding or enforcement. Question 3. Who's expected to uphold Australian values? Option A, only government officials. Option B, only those born in Australia. Option C, only new citizens. Option D, all Australian people. The correct answer is all Australian people. Explanation: all Australian people, regardless of their background or length of citizenship, are expected to respect, share, and uphold these values. This inclusive approach strengthens the fabric of Australian society. Question 4. What principle ensures that all Australians are equal before the law? Option A, parliamentary democracy. Option B, rule of law. Option C, compulsory voting. Option D, cultural diversity. The correct answer is rule of law. Explanation: the rule of law is a fundamental principle in Australia that ensures all citizens are equal in relation to the law, regardless of their background or status. This concept is crucial for maintaining a fair and just society, as outlined in the Australian Citizenship, Our Common Bond resource. Question 5. How does Australia ensure citizen participation in governance? Option A, by enforcing the rule of law. Option B, through compulsory voting. Option C, by having a multicultural society. Option D, through direct democracy. The correct answer is through compulsory voting. Explanation: compulsory voting is a unique feature of Australia's democratic system that ensures high citizen participation in the electoral process. This requirement underscores the importance of every citizen's involvement in choosing their representatives, as highlighted in the Australian Citizenship, Our Common Bond Guide. Question 6. What is a key limitation on freedom of speech in Australia? Option A, criticizing the government. Option B, discussing controversial topics. Option C, promoting violence against others. Option D, expressing unpopular opinions. The correct answer is promoting violence against others. Explanation: while Australia values freedom of speech, there are legal limits. Promoting violence against others is explicitly mentioned as unacceptable and illegal. This aligns with the principle of balancing free expression with public safety and social harmony, as outlined in the Australian Citizenship, our common bond resource. Question 7. Which of the following is protected under Australian freedom of speech? Option A, peaceful protest. Option B, false allegations. Option C, encouraging lawbreaking. Option D, hate speech. The correct answer is peaceful protest. Explanation: the Australian Citizenship, our common bonds, specifically mentions that tolerance of peaceful public protest is an essential part of democracy in Australia. This right is fundamental to the Australian democratic system and is emphasized in citizenship education materials as a key aspect of civic participation. Question 8. How does Australia balance freedom of speech with social responsibility? Option A, by banning all controversial speech. Option B, through complete, unrestricted expression. Option C, by allowing free expression within legal bounds. Option D, by government pre-approval of all public statements. The correct answer is by allowing free expression within legal bounds. Explanation: Australia's approach to freedom of speech involves allowing broad expression of ideas, but within the framework of the law. This balance ensures that citizens can express themselves freely while maintaining social order and protecting against harmful speech, as highlighted in official citizenship resources. Question 9. Who is primarily responsible for respecting others' freedom of expression in Australia? Option A, the government. Option B, the media. Option C, individual citizens. Option D, law enforcement agencies. The correct answer is individual citizens. Explanation: other people's freedom of speech and freedom of expression must be respected as long as such expression is lawful. This implies a personal responsibility for all Australians to uphold this value. The Australian Citizenship, our common bond resource, emphasizes the importance of individual responsibility in maintaining a harmonious society. Question 10. Which right is fundamental to Australia's democratic society? Option A, freedom to join any organization. Option B, freedom to leave any group. Option C, freedom to protest peacefully. Option D, freedom of association. The correct answer is freedom of association. Explanation: freedom of association encompasses the rights to join, leave, and not join organizations, as well as the right to gather and protest peacefully. This fundamental value underpins Australia's democratic society, as outlined in the Australian Citizenship, our common bond resource. Question 11. What is a key limitation in the right to protest in Australia? Option A, protests must be approved by the government. Option B, protests must not damage property. Option C, protests must have at least 50 participants. Option D, protests must be held during business hours. The correct answer is protests must not damage property. Explanation: while Australians have the right to protest, it must be done within the law. This includes ensuring protests are peaceful and do not cause damage to property or injury to individuals, as stated in the Australian Citizenship Resource Materials. Question 12. How can Australians exercise their freedom of association? Option A, by joining a political party. Option B, by leaving a trade union. Option C, by participating in a cultural group. Option D, all of the above. The correct answer is all of the above. Explanation: freedom of association in Australia allows individuals to join or leave any legal group voluntarily. This includes political parties, trade unions, religious, cultural, or social groups, as described in the official Australian Citizenship Information. Question 13. Who can compel an individual to join an organization in Australia? Option A, the government. Option B, employers. Option C, religious leaders. Option D, no one. The correct answer is no one. Explanation: in Australia, a key aspect of freedom of association is that individuals cannot be compelled to join any organization or forced to leave it. This principle is an essential part of Australian values and is clearly outlined in the Citizenship Resource Materials. Question 14. What is the status of religious laws in Australia? Option A, they are equal to Australian law. Option B, they have no legal status. Option C, they apply only to religious communities. Option D, they are superior to Australian law. The correct answer is they have no legal status. Explanation: in Australia, religious laws have no legal status. All citizens must follow Australian law, even when it differs from religious laws. This principle ensures equality before the law for all Australians, regardless of their religious beliefs. Question 15. How does the Australian government approach different religions? Option A, it favors Christianity. Option B, it bans certain religions. Option C, it treats all equally. Option D, it requires religious registration. The correct answer is it treats all equally. Explanation: the Australian government treats all citizens equally, regardless of their religion or beliefs. This approach reflects Australia's commitment to religious freedom and non-discrimination, as outlined in the Australian Citizenship, Our Common Bond in the Australian Citizenship, Our Common Bond Resource Book. Question 16. Which practice is illegal in Australia, despite being allowed in some religious traditions? Option A, fasting. Option B, polygamy. Option C, prayer. Option D, pilgrimage. The correct answer is polygamy. Explanation: polygamy, the practice of being married to more than one person simultaneously, is illegal in Australia. This is true even if it might be allowed in certain religious traditions. Australian law prohibits this practice and can impose severe penalties, including imprisonment, for those who engage in it. Question 17. Why is religious intolerance unacceptable in Australian society? Option A, it violates human rights. Option B, it threatens national security. Option C, it contradicts equal opportunity. Option D, it is not popular. The correct answer is, it contradicts equal opportunity. Explanation: religious intolerance is unacceptable in Australian society because it contradicts the principle of equal opportunity. All individuals should have the same chances to pursue their goals and interests, regardless of their ethnicity or religion, as long as they obey Australian law. This principle is fundamental to Australia's values of fairness and equality. Question 18. How do Australians primarily demonstrate their commitment to democratic beliefs? Option A, by voting in elections. Option B, by joining a political party. Option C, by protesting government decisions. Option D, by running for public office. The correct answer is by voting in elections. Explanation: in Australia, voting is compulsory for eligible citizens in federal and most state and territory elections. This practice ensures widespread participation in the democratic process and is considered a fundamental civic duty. While other options, like joining parties or protesting, are valid forms of political engagement, voting is the most universal way Australians participate in their democracy. Question 19. How should Australians view their relationship with the law? Option A, as a guideline to be followed when convenient. Option B, as rules that apply only in public spaces. Option C, as a system that favors certain groups. Option D, as a binding agreement for all to respect. The correct answer is as a binding agreement for all to respect. Explanation: the Australian legal system is founded on the principle that laws are essential for maintaining peace and order in society. As outlined in the citizenship resource materials, Australians are expected to recognize the importance of laws and adhere to them at all times, even when not under direct observation. This understanding forms a crucial part of Australian civic responsibility and national values. Question 20. How does Australian law view the promotion of violence against specific groups? Option A, it's acceptable if done privately. Option B, it's allowed as part of free speech. Option C, it's tolerated for political discussions. Option D, it's illegal and against Australian values. The correct answer is it's illegal and against Australian values. Explanation: democracy is a core value in Australia's system of government. It involves the people of Australia electing representatives to make decisions on their behalf and is a fundamental principle outlined in the Australian Citizenship, Our Common Bond Guide. Thanks for watching. We hope you answered all the questions correctly, and this practice test helped you prepare for your Australian Citizenship Test. Remember to check out UWF Australian Test. Come for more free resources and practice tests. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more helpful content. Good luck on your journey to Australian citizenship.